Hi, this is Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. Today I want to deal with how to manage committed members in your church as a pastor, how to manage committed members in the church as a pastor. And this is a very important topic because we have seen pastors that are neglecting the committed members in their churches. Now, I want to emphasize this, that it's very important for you to be able to identify those committed members, those people that sacrifice a lot in your church. They are doing everything in your church. And you will agree with me as a pastor that 80% of the work in the church is done by 20% of the people in the church, giving as well. 20% of the people are the ones that are giving the whole 80% of the money that is in the church. Projects like building, for instance, are actually done by 20% of the people in the church, more than the 80% that are sitting and warming the chairs and the benches and so on. But we always forget to acknowledge the people that are committed. And we always don't make an effort as pastors to really acknowledge the people that are committed and honor them and respect them. And this is a very important topic that we deal with right now. And I hope that all pastors that are listening to us would actually learn from this and make sure that you make use of what we are teaching right now in your church, because that's the only way you're going to make sure that you maximize the work in your church. And the workforce that you have in the church will be encouraged and it will be maximized as well. Very important. The first thing that I want to emphasize is you need to acknowledge them. You need to acknowledge the people that are committed. First, identify them and acknowledge them. Make sure that those that are committed, they know that you know that they are committed. Let them hear it from you. Speak it. Say it. Let them hear. And if it's an issue of giving them a call as individuals and say, I love your commitment in my church, that is very encouraging to members in the church. Remember that members in our churches, they came there as voluntary people. They are not being paid for being members in the church. Their commitment is an extra mile that they give as a sacrifice in the church. And they don't expect to be paid through money. They don't expect to get a salary out of being committed in the church. But acknowledgement becomes very important, particularly when it comes from a senior pastor. And this is very important, that we emphasize that you acknowledge your people. Let them know. Those that are committed, say it with your mouth and let them know. If it is an issue of phoning them, as I said, if it's an issue of telling them face to face, it's very important that you acknowledge them at all times and let it be a conscious decision that you apply and do. Because if you don't acknowledge them, they feel like they are sacrificing for nothing because they are not getting paid, by the way. But as I said, they're sacrificing and they will appreciate your acknowledgement. The second thing is get others to assist them, to protect them from burnout. Now, these few people who are 20% of the whole church, they are the ones who are coming early in church. They are the last to leave in church. They are the ones that are giving all the monies for building, all the monies for amenities in the church, like electricity and water. They are the very same ones that are participating in activities like worship. They are participating in activities like ushering. And everything that's taking place in the church is the same people. Now, a member dies in the church, they are the very same ones that go to the funeral. You're talking about these very same people. They're the very same ones that are giving for the conference, that are actually organizing the conference, that are participating in the conference as well. Now, few people, and they're all taking all the load upon them. Burnout is knocking at the door. But for them not to have burnout, so you need to manage their energy. You need to manage how they work. You need to manage actually the delegation there. You need to actually make sure that you relieve them of some of the duties that may burn them out, that may not be necessary right now. You need to delegate actually in a wise manner to an extent that those that are not loaded that much, that have capacity to take more, let them take more, and let those that are on the edge of burning out, please let them be offloaded a bit. But that's a conscious decision. You work on it. You are actually observant about it and make sure that you speak to the individuals and offload them of some of the work, allocate others that are having capacity, because we are sharing the load here and we're making sure that no one is getting burned out. But that is the role of the senior pastor, that must observe that and be able to step in and make sure that those people don't experience burnout. The other thing, give them rest in activities that do not need their direct involvement. So in other words, there are those things like, for instance, I would say there are those people that are not necessarily supposed to. Let's give an example. The main praise and worship team that is running the praise and worship in the church every Sunday in conferences and so on may not necessarily be the same that gets involved in open airs, because you might actually need some people that are able to lead choruses that are not the main worship team, and use those for open airs to come and lead choruses while you're doing an open air. That's just an example. Because you don't need the main worship team of the church to come and run an open air. You don't need that. You need to basically rest them and make sure that you get some few individuals that may be from the pews that are able to lead choruses and in a tent manner. I mean, we've seen people that are good in chorus leading. They come and lead choruses in an open air, and then people get saved. And that can be just the ways. There are some activities that don't need this particular group to be involved. So if they are not necessary to be involved, let those that are not involved be given time to rest at home. And that's the way that you will actually avoid burnout as well, and encourage people to continue working and not burning out at all. The other thing that is very important for us to look at, you need to give attention. You need to give attention to those people that are committed when they need it, like in case of loss of their loved ones. And this is a very important point. Now, pastors, we have got a tendency of wanting to cover and make everybody love us. And we make sure that that one has got a funeral we run to, that one is having a funeral that we run to. And sometimes we even ignore those major committed people. Because the people that are very committed, sometimes we take them for granted, and we feel that because they are matured spiritual, they will understand. And therefore, you will actually have two deaths. One is for a committed member. The other one is for non-committed member. As a pastor, you choose to go to the non-committed member because he or she is fragile. You think that they will break easily because you didn't come. And the one that's matured and participating in the church, you think that they are strong enough, they will understand that you have gone to this baby one that you're looking after. But the right way is this, that you need to use your resources to those that are using their resources for you. You need to use your resources onto those that are using their resources for your ministry and for your vision. And this is very, very important. And people should know that they will be supported by the pastor based on their commitment to the vision. You can't just support everybody. And those that are not ready to support the vision, let them forget about being supported. And this is a statement that many pastors are afraid to say. And we are saying that as Church Governance Solutions, that members that are listening to us out there, they should agree and understand that the pastor cannot drive all the way to my home if I'm not committed. Because if I'm having a problem, let me go to a pastor that I'm trusting, that I believe in. Not this one, because this one, if I trust this pastor, I must give my finances, I must give my time, I must commit my family there, and I must make sure that I'm committed in activities of that particular church. If I'm not committed, then that means there's somewhere I'm committed. And where you are committed, please go and get help there. It's harsh, yes, and it sounds very harsh, but I would love it to sound harsh so that our members or congregants may learn from this and understand that the pastor is not a superhuman being. He cannot be everywhere at every time. So therefore, there are times where he cannot be in places where you want him to be. He will then prioritize those that are committed to his vision and go there and leave you, whoever, yourself who is not committed. And please don't complain. If you complain, it's your own business. But I want to emphasize this, that pastors, please give attention to those who are committed in your vision. Do I apologize to this? I don't. I'm emphasizing and I'm saying that's very important, that those that are committed be supported. The other thing that we need to look at is to pray for your committed members at all times, please, Pastor. And they need your prayers. And those are the people that need your prayers. And the very same committed members, you'll find that as you pray for them, they are the ones who are praying for you as well. So please let it be reciprocated in the way that they pray for you and you pray for them as well. And those committed members, they need your prayers a lot more than ever. So please, let's pray for them and keep praying for them. Mention them by names and pray for their success and their breakthroughs. Very, very important. As a pastor, please do that. The other thing that I want to bring about is you need to know them by names and to have their numbers and call them just to check on them and their well-being at some stage. You need to know the numbers, telephone numbers of your own committed members, so that randomly you just call them and say, I'm just checking how you're doing. And that's very important. And a call from a pastor is more valuable to a member of a congregation than even any other person calling. When you're called by a pastor, you feel valued as a member. You feel very important. And you feel somebody, like you're being acknowledged. You're being honored. And that's very important. And therefore, a call from a pastor randomly can be very, very important. Just to say, I was checking how you're doing. I'm praying for you. And I'm wishing you all the best. And I'm praying that God bless you. And that may be just enough words. And I want to emphasize that as well. But also, we want to close by saying you need to reward their commitment sometimes through introducing simple things like trophies and medals and so on. And I've seen pastors that do that have been very, very successful to do that. And when you do that, you're encouraging the people. Because when people are recognized in front of others, they become the best version of themselves. And I want to emphasize the fact that recognition is one of the greatest things that individual needs in their lives. It's actually rated very highly on Maslow's needs of hierarchy, or hierarchy of needs, whereby recognition is very important as well. So your committed members need to be recognized. And when you recognize them, you're actually encouraging them, you're injecting some energy in them, and they're going to be even more committed. And I want to emphasize that as a pastor. Let's consider these things. You don't need to do a lot of things. You don't need to do big things, but small things. As I'm giving an example, some medals, and just say the tither of the year. Just some medals to say a committed member of the year, things like that. And then also maybe just medals, maybe for department of the year, for instance. Maybe the worshiping team have outdone everybody. So you're encouraging people by doing that. And that's very, very key, that we consider things like that will actually encourage the people in our churches. I'm going to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I hope that you've learned something out of this and you'll take it up with your own church and make sure that you apply some of the things that we have taught in this platform. But before we check out, we want to remind you of our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, our Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. So please follow us, click notification buttons, and like those pages as well. And the good Lord will bless you as you do that. Don't forget our YouTube channel is under Young Men Empowerment Forum and under Micornus Phokane as well. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, click notification button as well. We have got a TikTok account, which is very, very important platform as well for you. That will help you as you follow us there. May the good Lord bless you as you follow us on the TikTok account as well. It is under Micornus Phokane. May the good Lord bless you and allow us to check out right here and say cheers for now.